being the best of who you are. All of those things brought me back to my own sense of what I wanted to do.
A single scene from Basic Instinct sent shockwaves through Hollywood, instantly propelling Sharon Stone to global stardom. But behind the curtain of her meteoric rise lay a brewing controversy. Sharon claimed she was misled about the scene's explicit nature, while director Paul Verhoeven argued otherwise. This explosive disagreement sparked a decades-long debate about consent, artistic integrity, and the price of fame in an industry that thrives on spectacle. Today, we unravel the truth behind the moment that left audiences doubting it was real. Let's begin. Sharon Stone's rise to fame. Before she was a Hollywood star, Sharon Stone was a young dreamer, willing to take risks that others wouldn't. Leaving behind the familiarity of small-town Pennsylvania, she set her sights on New York City, not for fame, but for the chance to prove she could shine. Modeling opened doors, but Sharon didn't want to just be seen. She wanted to captivate. Her first step into acting came when she lined up for a minor role in Woody Allen's Stardust Memories. That fleeting moment on screen ignited a fire, pushing her to chase bigger opportunities. She took small TV roles in shows like Magnum P.I. and T.J. Hooker, slowly carving out a space for herself in the industry. But Sharon wasn't content with the sidelines. Action films like King Solomon's Mines in 1985 tested her limits, and even though critics weren't kind, Sharon's perseverance stood out. Roles in Police Academy 4 and Above the Law followed, keeping her momentum alive. Then came a pivotal moment: Total Recall in 1990. Starring alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sharon's gripping performance caught the eye of director Paul Verhoeven. This was her turning point, but her biggest challenge was still ahead. Landing the lead in Basic Instinct wasn't a simple offer. It was a battle. Sharon wasn't the first or even the 10th choice. Hollywood stars like Michelle Pfeiffer and Julia Roberts had already declined the role. As the 13th name on the list, Sharon faced an exhausting 8.5-month audition process. But where others faltered, Sharon's determination only grew stronger. What made Sharon Stone stand out when others walked away? Stay tuned as we reveal the role that turned her into a household name. The role that made Sharon Stone a star. Landing the role in Basic Instinct wasn't just a career breakthrough for Sharon Stone. It was a test of her grit. Even her co-star, Michael Douglas, harbored doubts about working with someone who was still relatively unknown in the industry. Hollywood was a world dominated by established names, and Sharon's anonymity was seen as a gamble. But what others saw as a weakness, she turned into her strength. Her face became the symbol of the film's promotion, but her name was nowhere to be found on the posters. Instead, it was Michael Douglas's name that carried the weight. This deliberate omission wasn't a slight against her, but a calculated move that turned Sharon into an enigma. Who was this captivating woman staring out from the posters? The mystery alone was enough to spark intrigue. When Basic Instinct hit theaters in March 1992 and became one of the highest-grossing films of that year, it became a cultural sensation, and Sharon Stone emerged as the star everyone was talking about. However, the attention wasn't all celebratory. The movie ignited fiery debates and faced harsh criticism, with much of the uproar centered around a single scene that pushed boundaries like never before. That moment didn't just define the movie, it defined Sharon's career and left audiences reeling. Even 32 years later, the scene continues to be dissected and discussed, a testament to its impact on cinema and pop culture. But what exactly made it so unforgettable? To understand, we need to delve deeper into the scene that continues to echo through Hollywood history. Sharon Stone's journey to Hollywood. Before she became the notable figure at the heart of Basic Instinct, Sharon Stone's early life was shaped by both hardship and extraordinary promise. Born on March 10, 1958, in Meadville, Pennsylvania, she was the daughter of Dorothy Marie, an accountant, and Joseph William Stone II, a tool and die manufacturer. Growing up with 3 siblings, Sharon's family life was far from ordinary, as she faced personal struggles, including childhood abuse, which she later revealed in her memoir, The Beauty of Living Twice. Despite these challenges, Sharon's brilliance shone through early on. By the age of 5, Sharon was already academically advanced, entering 2nd grade ahead of her peers. With a reported IQ of 154, she was recognized as gifted, and her intellectual potential seemed limitless. However, it was not just her mind that set her apart. Her beauty did too. At 14, she suffered a neck injury when breaking a horse, but that didn't deter her. After graduating high school in 1975, Sharon moved on to Edinburgh State College on a creative writing scholarship, but her true calling was elsewhere. At just 15, she left college and moved to New York City to pursue a modeling career. Soon, she signed with the prestigious Ford modeling agency, eventually moving to Europe, where she spent time in Milan and Paris. It was during her time abroad that Sharon decided to leave modeling behind and follow her real passion, acting. At 20, she secured a small role in Woody Allen's Stardust Memories, 1980, marking the first step in a long, hard journey towards superstardom. The infamous interrogation scene, controversy, manipulation, and betrayal. Let's revisit the unforgettable interrogation moment from Basic Instinct, the scene that everyone still talks about. Sharon Stone's portrayal of Catherine Trammell in the 1992 film captivated audiences, but it was this particular moment that caused the most controversy. In a room full of male officers, Catherine, composed and in control, uncrosses her legs, revealing more than anyone anticipated. A swift camera angle captures a fleeting, revealing shot that, though brief, becomes a defining moment of the film. It's a subtle yet powerful gesture that took everyone by surprise, leaving an indelible mark in cinematic history. But the real drama didn't end when the film hit theaters. Sharon Stone herself has been candid about her feelings toward this moment. In her 2021 memoir, The Beauty of Living Twice, she shared her side of the story, shedding light on what really happened behind the scenes. Stone revealed that she was told to remove her underwear during filming to avoid light reflections, with assurances that nothing explicit would be visible. That promise, however, turned out to be a lie. The first time Stone saw the completed scene was at a viewing with agents and lawyers, where she was stunned to see just how much of her was exposed. Feeling betrayed, she walked up to director Paul Verhoeven, slapped him, and stormed out of the room. Shocked and upset, she immediately called her lawyer, preparing to take action. Over the years, Stone has reflected on how that scene changed her life. At the 2019 GQ Men of the Year Awards, while accepting the Woman of the Year prize, she spoke about the moment that altered her career and public image forever. She revealed the intense scrutiny and judgment that followed, turning her into a symbol of both empowerment and exploitation. However, Verhoeven, the film's director, sees things differently. In an interview with Variety, he dismissed Stone's account, calling it impossible. According to him, she was fully aware of the nature of the scene and had agreed to recreate a gesture inspired by a real-life woman he had known during his student days. He argued that Stone understood the significance of the moment, both for her character and the film's provocative themes. Meanwhile, Basic Instinct screenwriter Joe Eszterhas distanced himself from the most talked-about moment in the movie. Although his script included plenty of nudity, Eszterhas maintained that the infamous leg-crossing scene was not his idea. Speaking at the 2013 London Screenwriters Festival, Eszterhas admitted the scene was terrific, but also overshadowed the more intricate aspects of the film's noir elements. He even suggested that it might have harmed Stone's career by focusing more on shock value than her performance. In fact, the controversial moment wasn't even in Eszterhas's original screenplay. The script called for a scene where Michael Douglas's character watches Catherine change, noticing she's not wearing underwear. However, Verhoeven took this idea and transformed it into the provocative interrogation scene that became the film's most famous moment. Eszterhas described Verhoeven's creative process as the work of a mad genius, and it was his direction that pushed the boundaries of what was filmed. Wayne Knight, who played a supporting role in the scene, became just as iconic as the moment itself, thanks to his exaggerated reaction to Catherine's leg crossing. As the camera zoomed in on his shocked expression, his reaction became a lasting symbol of the scene's audacity. However, the controversy surrounding Basic Instinct goes far beyond the screen. Behind the scenes, Stone and other female cast members were subjected to mistreatment and manipulation. In her memoir, Stone detailed the pressure she faced, particularly in relation to the interrogation scene. She felt misled about what would appear on camera and struggled with her lack of control over the final product. This isn't the only troubling experience Stone has shared about her time in Hollywood. In recent years, she revealed a disturbing incident from the set of Sliver in 1993, where producer Robert Evans allegedly pressured her to engage in sexual relations with co-star Billy Baldwin to improve Baldwin's performance. Stone refused, but the encounter left a lasting impact. It's yet another example of the exploitation women in the industry often faced, where their personal boundaries were disregarded for the sake of a film's success. Evans, who passed away in 2019, was a well-known producer with a powerful reputation, but Stone's revelation paints a darker picture of his influence and the power dynamics in Hollywood. By speaking out about these experiences, Sharon Stone continues to shine a light on the toxic and harmful expectations placed on women in the film industry. Sharon Stone's breakthrough, Casino and Beyond. After the explosive success of Basic Instinct in 1992, Sharon Stone cemented her status as a Hollywood icon. However, her next defining role didn't arrive until 3 years later, when she teamed up with legendary director Martin Scorsese for the mob epic Casino in 1995. In the film, Sharon portrayed Ginger McKenna, the cunning, drug-addicted wife of Robert De Niro's character, Ace Rothstein. Her performance was nothing short of transformative, elevating her from a popular star to one of Hollywood's most respected talents. Casino wasn't just another film. It became the pinnacle of Sharon's career. The movie was a critical and commercial triumph, raking in over $100 million at the box office. Sharon's riveting portrayal of Ginger earned her a Golden Globe win and her first, and so far only, Academy Award nomination for Best Actress. For Sharon, working alongside icons like Scorsese and Robert De Niro felt like competing at the Olympics. "Can I be good enough? Can I keep up?" she admitted, asking herself during production. The relentless work ethic and high expectations of her collaborators pushed Sharon to her limits, yet she thrived under the pressure. Describing her role as Ginger, Sharon noted that Ginger was no mere trophy wife. The character's unraveling, a mix of addiction, greed, and betrayal, added a layer of complexity that captivated audiences. One particularly intense scene, where Sharon's Ginger confronts De Niro's character in a fiery argument, showcased raw, unfiltered emotion. The power of her performance resonated across Hollywood, earning her admiration from peers and audiences alike. While Basic Instinct propelled her to fame, Casino proved her depth as an actress, cementing her place among the greats. After the success of Casino, Sharon Stone took on several challenging roles in the late 1990s. But what toll did this relentless pursuit of excellence take on her personal life and career? Stay tuned to find out. Sharon Stone's journey through ups and downs. After Casino's success, Sharon Stone faced a turbulent journey through the late 1990s, taking on a variety of complex roles. She played a manipulative mistress in Diabolique, a death row inmate in Last Dance, and a biologist in Sphere. Unfortunately, none of these films resonated with critics or audiences. Despite her efforts, Sharon struggled to find her footing, yet she had her moments of triumph. In 1998, her voice performance in Ants was well received, and her role in The Mighty earned her a Golden Globe nomination. However, as the years went on, setbacks continued to plague her career. By 1999, films like Gloria and The Muse failed to make a lasting impact. Sharon's work was still praised, but the movies themselves didn't resonate, and her reputation took a hit with the controversy surrounding Golden Globe campaigning. Then, in 2001, Sharon's life took a dramatic turn. She suffered a brain hemorrhage, forcing her to step away from acting for a time. During her recovery, Sharon admitted feeling like she had lost her place in Hollywood. She made a strong comeback in 2003 with an Emmy-winning role on The Practice. However, her attempts to revive her film career in movies like Cold Creek Manor and Catwoman were met with failure, with Catwoman becoming infamous as one of the worst movies ever made. Still, Sharon's determination persisted, showing she wasn't ready to be forgotten. From 2005 to 2017, Sharon's career continued its ups and downs. She starred alongside Bill Murray in Broken Flowers in 2005, playing a quirky character that reminded everyone of her charm and sharpness. However, her return to Catherine Trammell in Basic Instinct 2 was a major disappointment, as the film flopped both critically and commercially. In Alpha Dog in 2006, Sharon played a grieving mother, earning praise for her performance. She also joined the cast of Bobby, a film about Robert F. Kennedy's assassination, where she and the ensemble cast earned an award for Best Ensemble. Sharon's later career saw her embrace smaller, independent films. In 2013, she starred in Fading Gigolo, which allowed her to showcase her humor. She also appeared in the hit The Disaster Artist in 2017, which brought her back into the public eye. Additionally, she made notable TV appearances, including a tough prosecutor role on Law and Order, Special Victims Unit, and starred in the short-lived Agent X in 2015. However, while her career fluctuated, Sharon's personal life remained marked by turbulent relationships and heartbreak. Her first significant romance was with TV producer Michael Greenberg, whom she married in 1984. Their union ended in 1990 after a brief marriage. Sharon's subsequent relationships were filled with drama and intense emotions. She got engaged to producer William J. McDonald in 1993, but their relationship ended just a year later, with Sharon returning the engagement ring via FedEx. In 1998, Sharon married journalist Phil Bronstein, and they seemed like a Hollywood power couple. However, behind the glamour, Sharon faced heartbreaking struggles. Due to an autoimmune disease and endometriosis, she could not have biological children. In 2000, she and Phil adopted a son, Rowan, but by 2003, cracks formed in their marriage, and Phil filed for divorce, with Rowan staying primarily with him. The emotional toll of this loss was overwhelming for Sharon. Determined to create the family she longed for, Sharon adopted 2 more sons, Laird in 2005 and Quinn in 2006. With her 3 boys, she built a loving home in West Hollywood, but the echoes of past heartbreaks and her complicated path to motherhood remained. Sharon's legacy of impact and controversy. Sharon Stone's life, marked by both professional triumphs and personal trials, took on a new dimension as she embraced her role as a mother. By 2018, she had fully committed to raising her sons as a single mother, creating a nurturing environment for them. While her marriages may have faltered, motherhood became her anchor, and she found fulfillment in building a home full of love for her children. But Sharon's journey was far from smooth, and her life beyond acting took many unexpected turns, especially when it came to her activism. In January 2005, during the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, Sharon found herself at the heart of a controversial moment. During a panel on African poverty, she was moved by Tanzanian President Benjamin Mkpa's discussion about malaria's toll on his country. In an impromptu and emotional moment, Sharon launched a fundraiser for mosquito nets to combat the disease. Her charisma was undeniable, and within minutes, pledges poured in, amounting to $1 million. However, the goodwill quickly soured. Critics, including UNICEF, accused Sharon of acting impulsively without proper research, and of the $1 million pledged, only $250,000 was raised. To make up the difference, UNICEF had to step in, redirecting funds from other projects. Worse, reports later suggested the nets were never distributed as planned, with many disappearing from local airports and even being resold on the black market. Another incident that would spark controversy occurred in 2008 at the Cannes Film Festival. Sharon, speaking to Hong Kong's cable entertainment news, was asked about the devastating Sichuan earthquake that claimed thousands of lives in China. Sharon, known for her candidness, linked the tragedy to China's treatment of Tibet and made a remark about karma, suggesting that bad things happen when a country is not nice. The implication that the earthquake was some form of cosmic retribution sparked outrage, particularly in China, where the comments were seen as deeply insensitive. The backlash was swift. Major Chinese theater chains banned her films. Advertisements for Dior featuring Sharon were pulled, and she was even dropped from the Shanghai International Film Festival. Initially, Dior issued an apology on her behalf, but Sharon denied ever authorizing it. She stood firm in not apologizing for something she felt was misunderstood, but did admit that her words came out clumsily. Later, Sharon expressed her regret more sincerely, apologizing for the unintended hurt her remarks caused. Despite these missteps, Sharon's humanitarian efforts continued to shine through. In March 2006, she shifted focus from Hollywood to global diplomacy, traveling to Israel with Nobel Peace Prize winner Shimon Peres to promote peace in the Middle East. Sharon later credited Peres as a mentor, and in 2013, her work with HIV/AIDS earned her the prestigious Peace Summit Award. That same year, she was honored for her dedication to making a difference, solidifying her status not just as a movie star, but as an advocate for change. Her humanitarian work reached another pinnacle in 2015 when she was recognized with the Palazzo Building Peace Award in Milan. At the event, Sharon's passion took center stage as she led an impromptu auction, raising enough funds to build 28 schools in Africa. This moment further demonstrated her ability to turn her influence into tangible change. Sharon Stone, with her charisma and tireless dedication, proved that her impact extended far beyond the silver screen. Her story is one of resilience, compassion, and the power of action. Do you think Sharon Stone was exploited for bold art? Or is it the price of creativity, with directors always having the final say? Let us know in the comment section.